So, hello and welcome, Animation Express Virtual Meet. I'm your host Poonam today, and today we have a very special guests. Not one but two. Nodwin Gaming's co-founder, Mr. Akshat Rathee, and Nodding Heads Games co-founder, Mr. Avichal Singh.
So we've got two
So,
nods here. We've got two nods
yes,
here. It's
it's a bit
perfect.
of tongue twister, right? Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I want to know how you all are doing because COVID situation is getting intense. So I really want to know how you guys are all doing, coping up with the everything.
We put our head down and we create festivals. And then we sit at home and we try to go ahead and make the best of the time with that we have here. As all, thank you for asking. I think we're fairly safe. We stay inside. I hope everyone else is also going to be fairly safe as such. But yeah, COVID's very strange.
If you could share about the Steam Game Harvest, which is going on right now at the Steam platform, if you could share few details about it, that will really help.
So, the idea came from Avichal. He's the guy who said, look, Akshat, other countries do great festivals. Why can't we go ahead and do great festivals also? And I've seen him do something phenomenal with Raji. And then he came up with the idea saying that we should do something really cool like this. I think it inspired something, but what we wanted to make sure to do was to go and get and make the festival about India, right? And we just didn't want to go ahead and just make it a this is another sale. That's it has to be. We're in a country as a country right now. We are at an inflection point. We'll be at 75 years very soon. And while the last 75 years have been tough for us and hard for us, but we've done well as a country. I'm very proud of the way where we've got. There's so much to fix in our country. Don't get me started, but the future is what we will make it, right? And people like Avi will go ahead and make great games, and it's time to go ahead and this word Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So why we always import games? Why can't we make great games? And that was the starting point. And then we got talking, and then when we went talking, we were like, what's the big perception? And if I ask most of the viewers who will eventually watch this, they'll be like, choro, this India doesn't make good games. We make crappy games, right? And most people say that India makes crappy games. And we wanted to go ahead and bust that myth. We wanted to go ahead and say India actually makes some like freaking awesome games. And you just don't know about it. So it was a problem not of availability, but it was a problem of perception that we wanted to go ahead and solve with this statement that is there. But we didn't want to go ahead and say, hey, only Avichal makes a really good game called Raji that does well. We wanted to go ahead and showcase the community that comes in, right? And everyone we wanted to go ahead and say. And we said, it's not 5, it's not 10. We eventually got nearly 20 publishers who were there. We had 30 games that are out there. They're from really, really old games. They're games that are recent. They're games that are going to be coming up in the future. And we wanted to go ahead and celebrate this thing around India and gaming that is there, right? And then, it's better said in Hindi. So we started talking and chalte rahe, Avichal bolta raha, and then kafila banta raha, and log aate rahe, and then suddenly we were like, hey, this is cool. We've got 30 games, and then this is really nice. And then someone made a trailer, someone made graphics, someone went and stayed up at 3 o'clock in the night in Hong Kong, and someone woke up in Seattle. And eventually, when like-minded people come together, you go ahead and put out these games, and then people like Nvidia and YouTube start coming on board, and they'll support us, and we are here today.
So how has been the entire process? I have seen Avichal's post that the art, the banner has been done by Nodding Heads Games. So I really want to know how has been the process of entire from the ideation to today. So I really want to know how has been the process to both of you, whoever
No, I
like
think
wants to.
this is a good answer for Avichal to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing started with I think I saw Swiss Dev Sale a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, and that made me think that I myself know so many indie games from India, and some really fantastic developers. So, this has to happen one day. And of course, I didn't know who to talk to, how to do it. And I had read like you'd email Valve and make it happen. And, I did connect with Akshat because of Raji. And eventually I figured out that, he works with Valve for Indian operations. And, that's where it clicked that, and I texted him, and I think our first call was he was like, "There's not enough games," and then we started listing. I did made this massive list of not just Indian developers but even Indian themed games, and then we decided there's a lot of Indian developer indies here, and actually I found and we both found so many new games even we didn't know because other devs knew them, and that's how it kept growing bigger and bigger. It came down to 30 devs and we made a Discord channel. Then we started throwing in ideas. We had a call, of course chaotic, with 15 people in a call, and some people later waiting for an update what happened. And through all that chaos we did figure out, yeah, we should theme it around the Indian harvest, which is celebrated as a new year across the country. And I think that was a very strong theme, and everyone feels a part of it. So,
And then just to go ahead and just double click on what Avich said, which is there, we also went into what unites us. That was one of the difficult questions for us to answer. And it's so interesting, right? We've got Bihu, we've got
Pohela
Gudi
Boishakh.
Padwa, you have Poila, you have Baisakhi, you have
Yes.
there is
Ugadi, there's so many.
there's Ugadi right now. So because India, being a traditionally agrarian economy, we used to go ahead and do our harvests at this time. That is why it was a new year. That is why it was the spring festival, or so. And then when we wanted to go ahead and figure it out, and we went and looked at all of these words that are there, and from the 13th, 14th of April all the way till the 22nd of April, there is one festival after another festival after another festival that is happening across India, which is celebrating the harvest. Fundamentally, that is it. And we said, fine, this is a great time. And if harvest brings in good luck and starting of good beginnings, and I think this is a great time to go ahead and bring in the harvest of games, right? This is the great time for us to go ahead and look at the games from the past and the present and the future, and look at, because that's what harvest is, right? Look at the past, we've harvested it. Let's sow the seeds for the future, and let's keep on building.
Yeah.
So that was the main idea behind creating the art, the banner for the Steam Harvest Festival, right?
Yep. Yep.
So how long it has been in the process, like in discussion and all?
The first time we texted each other about this was probably last year. I don't know, November, December. Then it was like on a hold because we were just collecting stuff, and Akshat was talking to all. I was collecting a list of games. That was like a slow progress, but I think it started kicking off once we knew this can happen, and Valve showed really good support for this. And Akshat
Uh, I think
I'll
he's
just take that
frozen
up.
again.
So
Yeah.
he wrote, I talked to Valve. Valve said, this is a great idea. Let's try it. What's the worst that will happen? It will not work, right? And I was like, why won't it work? They were like, people won't support it. People won't buy it. People won't invest in it. The graphics is going to be like, it's difficult to build things, right? So they were like, try. So I think and I think without Avichal, this wouldn't have happened. I think we all sat down enough times and late in the night to go ahead and get it done. That's why he's so sleepy right now. I don't think he slept at all.
Yeah, same for Akshat. Akshat, thank you for getting it through. So I'm really proud we could do this, and it's out there. There's a big message, and I'm sure it inspires other devs, young devs in the scene.
Just because of
Definitely, it
that,
will be.
I'll tell you something really. Abhi, I've not chatted with you about it. We've had 8 devs write to us right now
Oh, okay.
saying, you forgot us,
Okay.
right? And they're from different parts of the world. They're just writing in saying, and they're going and saying, I self-identify as an Indian. Can I be part of this festival going forward? and this is a Tamil guy. He's a Tamilian who's in the US, or there is a Malayali who's in Dubai, or there is another there is a Telugu person in Singapore. They're all writing to us saying, "I self-identify this. I have a great game. I want to be part of this."
So my next question to Mr. Rathee, there are many games developed by the indies, and those are just amazing in terms of artwork, in terms of game design. But despite that, I felt like there is a bit of lack when it comes to competitive esports, when it comes to Indian games in the esports. Like there are few tournaments were happening, like Ludo King during the quarantine time, and also WCC3, they have recently announced their esports mode in their game. So I really want to know how challenging, or whatever the reason, there are very less Indian games in the esports scene in India. So
So
what is
my
your
answer to
opinion
that,
on that?
my answer to that question is, there are very few esports games in the world, right? And I think you have to go ahead and look at it that way. If I ask you truly, how many esports games in the world do you know of?
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah.
guess. Best guess.
Yes,
If what if I tell you there are over 1 million games out there,
there are indeed.
right? So if
But
there are a
still,
million games out there, and there are,
even we felt like when PUBG got banned and 4G was coming, even we felt okay, 4G will become esports game in the coming years. But
I think we
yet,
have to be, I think we have to be fair to games, right? I think community makes games esports over time. Esports are notoriously tough to do. The net code has to be really good. The balancing has to be really good. It is always perpetual that you need to go ahead and invest in. It's a very funny fact, I'll tell you. There are no esports games that are less than 1 year old. Zero in the world. Right? Esports.
Valorant is there.
Valorant is less. Well, if you look at what Valorant has gone, by the way, Valorant has turned one anyway. But Valorant themselves don't think that they are esports. They believe the game has not fully balanced out. They're slowly going and building it out. They believe that the community tournaments and different tournaments, which is there, because remember, esports stands for the word sport at the end of it.
Exactly.
And there is no sport if you don't have enough practice. Like I can't come up with a game and tell people that it's a sport. People will be like, "Isko khelte kaise hain? Iska balance kya hai? Iske rules kya hai?" And normally you need to spend between 1,000 and 3,000 hours in a game, and you need at least 300 to 500 people spending that amount of time in a game, where you have something called mastery theory. You become really good at it. Then people think it's competitive, which is there, because otherwise it doesn't matter. Then it is just playing a game and just putting a leaderboard around it. Leaderboards are not esports. Right? It has to be competitive enough at a sport level to go ahead and look at it. And I think that is a tough thing for any country to do. Forget just India. And I think you need an evolved gaming ecosystem to go ahead and do this. And I think we are absolutely in the right path. Mark my words, less than 2 to 5 years from now, we will have esports titles that are great. And I think it might just be cricket. Now, it doesn't matter whether it is going to be real cricket or WCC or something which is there. I think cricket is something we can own because we have the ecosystem. We have a player base, we have a knowledge base, we have an intellect base, and we have other things that are happening.
I want to know how important to bring such kind of festival for the indie game developers, how it will help people to reach out more audiences in a mass when it comes to a festival like this.
So the idea here is to go, like, it's not just indie games, which is right. And it's, I think, I don't know what an indie game is, by the way. So I often try to Google it, and just, so titles are AAA, AA, indie, right? That's the nomenclature. And then there is some kind of a definition behind it. Who says Raji is an indie game? I think Raji is a AAA.
Nobody.
I think Raji is a AAA. I am go ahead and go next step forward. I think there are other games that are out in the library right now, and you should look at some of them. Some of them are absolutely phenomenal. I'll give you an example of Mumbai Gullies, which is
Mumbai Gullies, yes.
It looks
Game
like
on.
it's not even come, but I think it's going to be a phenomenal game that is there. And another game that I personally think that is very nice arcade is, there are 4 versions of it. Then you've got the Planet series, right? A little, and they've got uh, what's that name? Avichal?
Super
Super.
Lovely Planet, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah,
And if you
that
look at,
series, that is one of the early games I used to think back in 2014 and all that. That was a successful game. It was published by Tiny Build. Tiny Build is a very known big publisher in the scene, and yeah,
So your game Raji has been listed at the Steam Game Festival for last summer, spring as well. So
yeah.
I want to know how it has been to working behind and bringing the near about same facility for the other game developers.
It's great to see how things work at the back end with Akshat and how some of these new stuff Valve did for this festival, which was really which they've not done even for other festivals. And knowing how these festivals can impact the developers, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for demos, for wish lists, for feedback, and knowing if your store page is working and it's getting all those clicks. So I think doing this, I think a lot of developers are participating for the first time, and of course, when they go for the next festival, they will be more prepared. So yeah, this is very good, and yeah, it was good to see how things work at the back end.
Yeah. So this is also comes under the marketing area for the games as well, because they get an exposure to
Yeah.
show the world. So how it has helped you and how you think this facility will help the developers. Mr. Rathee, I would also want your inputs in this as well.
well, my short answer is, I think, and let Avichal answer, because he's actually based in both a developer and a publisher space. We just did it because it makes super good sense to go ahead and help the ecosystem. To us, just the view is, this is a global festival, right? This is not only in India. We are actually going out to the world to go ahead and show Indians can make great games. Now, whether it be a developer conversation or a publisher, I hope some of the games that are upcoming that get looked at by some good global publishers saying, hey, these are good games to go ahead and do, and I'd like to support it. Maybe something can come out of it, right? So the answer is, if you don't try experiments, if you don't go put yourself out there, you'll never do anything, right? That's the idea for us to go ahead and do. Let's put this out there to go ahead and say, we make games, and we don't make bad games, we make actually kick-ass games.
Yeah, if you see some of the new titles, they're really promising. The Palace on the Hill, Missing the Complete Saga, this one,
Minus Metal.
Yeah, Minus Metal, Forgotten's Field. I was really happy to see the variety of genres here. And recently, this one launched, In My Shadow, and it's getting very positive response. So people who have not launched upcoming, you don't know what would happen. Some people might get a very good publishing deal out of this festival because now they're visible, like Akshat said. And this is where these festivals make hidden impacts and the biggest impacts, which even we wouldn't know because of NDAs. But it's good to see these things happen. And we've experienced this with Raji, and we knew, put Raji everywhere, any festival, whatever's happening. And we did that for 3-4 years, and it's good to see Valve do this and Indian developers get a chance at this, and which is fairly good, because thousands of games launch, and even in the bigger Steam game festivals, you're competing against so many players, and this one really focuses on India. So, and it does show off that we have games, good quality games, multi-genre games are not bad quality. And I'm sure some of these people will get emails from some publishers, and that would help them, I think.
And Poonam, one of the things we liked, and I personally liked, is, I think Avichal just alluded to it, is the depth of genres. Like if you think about it, at the top, you're like, oh, India mein sirf PUBG chalta hai, India ke andar sirf Free Fire chalta hai, ya Call of Duty. So everyone just likes shooting games in India, right?
I do too.
So everyone and everyone thinks that that's the truth, and that's fine. It might that's actually a microcosm of now, right? However, if you have to think about it, the depth of there is a strategy game there. There are shooting games in there. There are historical games in there. There's games like Raji, which talk about our Vedic culture and gods, which is there. But we have also other games that are really fun for kids to go ahead and play, right? The depth of what you really want to go ahead and look at is everyone making the same game, or are people making different games? Are
Which
people
shows we have a really healthy ecosystem actually. A healthy ecosystem means people are experimenting in their own comfort, out of their own comfort zone. They're not trying to chase trends that let's make another PUBG or let's make another COD, which means, I was part of the Bangalore meetup group, which started with 3 people and I think it went to 60 plus, and then the pandemic happened. But I was reading about how those those ecosystems develop, and it does. India is mimicking what happened in the UK and the USA in the 90s and early 2000s, and even somewhere near 2010. So because tools are more accessible, we have official presence of Unreal Engine, we have Unity and Epic Games in India. They're sponsoring events, they are supporting developers. There's a big community out here on Discord and WhatsApp for Unreal. These things are going to push game development further, and it's exciting, time to make games here. And people know that now the audience knows they will, and actually audience is looking forward to see games from other cultures now. I think the word is opening up on the digital
Vocal for local.
yeah,
and and like I'll give you an example. Another thing that is there is, we building out of India can go ahead and export to the world. Abhi, I don't know whether and I'm going to posit a guess just because of just without an NDA also. You would have sold more Raji outside India than in India, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right, because that's just the nature of this, right? We have a lot of Indians outside, which is there. Our culture is exciting and interesting. If Bollywood can go ahead and do IFA Awards in New York City and go ahead and fill it out and go ahead and make a phenomenal dance and show about it, and people, India has always had Bollywood as an export soft power. Why can't Indians also have gaming as a soft power that we can export?
And Akshat, I have to double back that up. When we started making Raji, we didn't even look at India as a market, because we as gamers knew Indians invest in AAA or free to play, and indie is a niche space. But we knew we will see a lot of Indian support, which happened. But yes, first supporters came from outside, like Nintendo Indie World, which is a big indie event. We were at E3, we were at every Xbox event out there. All those showed us that these people playing in UK, US, and now Raji is also gonna launch in Japan very soon. They prove that we have the content or even the background to inspire from, to make content which can go global. And that is what Raji's aim was, and it did it. We never said let's only target India, because we knew this looks so good. I mean, if you go to Jaisalmer, Jaipur, Rajasthan, Ajanta, Ellora caves, like there's so many examples. Like I don't want to go there. Like there's so many examples. If you get inspired from them and you come up with a sci-fi setting or a post-apocalypse setting, or whatever works for you, it can really work out. And there's people like In My Shadow, Nakul, and it's a small team, and they're packing a big punch. And Ogrehead Studios, who did Asura, and Miners Metal. Like these are very diverse.
Bonfire did so well on iOS.
Yeah, Bonfire got worldwide featuring on Apple.
Yeah.
These things actually never go out, and there's a lot of noise about PUBG and all, and that's why it's important we did this festival.
Yeah.
Closing comment on that as an export idea, right? So when India was not with India, with America, but in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, when we were closer to Russia at that time, if you remember what Mera Jota Hai Japani had gone and done, there's so many people in Russia who knew of India just through that one song, and then that cultural phenomena that had taken shape, which is there. So the power that we have as Indian gaming, both as community, as consumers, You have to look at both. We can make this a center of excellence that we can export out of, and also look at internally. And we have a huge consumer base, so you have to look at both. And anytime when we go ahead and do that, that builds ecosystems.
And even the Indian market, it's maturing. People are moving. So somehow PUBG ban had positive, effect on the ecosystem. The same YouTubers were now playing Minecraft. A lot of them played Raji, and a lot of them got positive response from their audience. They didn't get shut down, and that shows the audience. They knew PUBG for a year and a half, and now they're like, there's other games, and there's games like Raji, and there's games like Minecraft. So they are now getting in that space, and it's gonna grow really interesting in the next 5 years. How the same audience, they've been introduced to gaming by some of these big games, but as a gamer, I can tell you, then it never stops, and that's a good thing.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? You want to say anything? Play a parts together campaign. Anything you want to add? Because there's lockdown, partial lockdown going on. People are at home, so they might be interested playing new games and trying them out.
There's 30 new games. They're very, very cheap. You can go ahead and choose either from the past or the present. Go to Steam. It's a very simple website. Go open it, download it, buy the games, support the community, stream it, be a streamer, be a content creator. Just go be awesome. This is a good time for be game, right? 10th boards have been cancelled.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a thing. So we'll just accept it and move on.
That's how it is, maybe.
I'm sure it's a good thing looking at my 10th result. I could use that to play some MMOs. Right. For anyone who's watching, do everything Akshat said and tell as many people you can. This Indian ecosystem, you want better games from India. This is your time to show support to what's out there, and you will get better games from India if you support events like this.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you, both of you. Thank you for giving us the time. It means a lot, and we have learned a lot of things today. And along with that, I would like to say, please, everyone, whoever is watching this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wear mask, stay at home, and please keep gaming.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.